One last slow motion binomial expansion problem from page 5 for A. Remember what we told you about the general term. So the general term can be found on the formula sheet. If you remember, it is from this part of the formula sheet. Look at the yellow term separated from the first part and the last part by 3 periods on the left and 3 periods on the right, which just means there's stuff left out. Okay? So you look at this part only, and then you write it right next to your problem. And then you say, okay, what I need to do is I need to figure out what's n, r, a, and b for what I want to find here. What they're asking for is the coefficient of the x to the 6y cubed term in here. And so they're actually asking us for one of the, how many terms are there here? There's going to be 6 plus 1 terms, or 7 terms in the expansion. Of these 7 terms, one of these has the variables x to the 6y cubed. And you could probably figure that out just by writing a few of the numbers out to see what the pattern is and find it. But I'm going to show you a way that you could do it if you have a really huge one, like if you have to the 17th power or something here. It's kind of hard to write out every single one and find it that way. So I'm gonna show you a different way to do it with algebra. Okay? So the way you would do it with algebra is you would use this formula, and you would say, okay, I do not know what r is, because if I knew what r was, then I would know exactly which term in the 7 it would be. And by the way, what is the meaning of r? Well, remember that if you have to the 6th power, then it would be an expansion of basically 7 terms, right? First term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, 7th term, right? And the r value actually is always just 1 less than the ordinal number of the term. So you can see that it follows the pattern where you just subtract 1 from the ordinal number of the term, and that gives you the r value. Okay? But we don't know the r value in this case. What we do know is we know we want the term that has x to the 6y cubed in it. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your binomial, you're going to look at the power, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to figure out what n, r, a, and b are as much as I can. N value is obviously going to be the power, so it's 6. The a value is going to be the part of the binomial that corresponds to the pattern a plus b in parentheses, so it would be 2x squared. It would be the triangle shape if you watched my other slow motion videos. So a would be 2x squared. B would be the circle part, or negative 3y. Now, why do I need to include the negative there? Well, I have to include it because it's the easiest way to account for the fact that negative 3y does not match the pattern plus b. Okay, so think of it as plus negative 3y. Last of all, we don't know what r is, so we're just going to leave it unknown. Okay, so now let's fill in our general term formula, which is this. So we're going to put 6 chooses r, because we don't know what r is. Instead of a, we're going to put 2x squared in parentheses, because whenever we substitute in for a and b, we need to put parentheses. And then instead of n, we're going to put 6, and and then we're going to put minus r. We need to leave r because we don't know what r is. For b, we're going to put parentheses, and we're going to put negative 3y, and we're going to put to the power of r, like it says here. And we don't know what r is, so we have to leave r. Okay? Next thing we're going to do, we need to look at this expression here, and we need to divide it into 2 parts. Okay? Otherwise, we're never going to solve this equation, or this expression. We know that this is equal to some number, I'm going to put k, and the variable part of it is going to be x to the 6th y cubed. Okay? So, I'm going to separate this into the number part, which is the k part, and the variable part, which is x to the 6th y cubed part. So I'm going to have the number part, and I'm going to have the variable part. So let's see. I'm going to color everything that's a number in green. So this would be a number, right? Because 6 chooses r, even though we don't know what r is, it's just a number. The 2 is a number, because 2 to the some power, even though we don't know what r is just going to be a number. Negative 3 is also a number. So what are we left with that's not a number? The part that's not a number would be the variable part, and that would be x squared to the 6 minus r and y to the r. Okay, so I am going to put the variable parts of it over here by variable. And so I'm going to have x squared to the 6 minus r times y to the r. And then the number parts, I'm going to put over here by number, I'm going to put 6 chooses r times 2 to the 6 minus r times negative 3 to the r. Do you see how I separated everything? I separated the green stuff, I put it on the left. I took the orange stuff, I put it on the right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fact that I know that the orange part actually looks like this, and I'm going to match it up together with this, okay? So I'm going to put equals x to the 6 y cubed, right? So now let's try to combine some of these exponent expressions, okay? So actually, if you have x squared to the 6 minus r, do you multiply or do you add the exponents? Well, if there's only one base, you multiply the exponents. So it's going to be x times 2 times 6 minus r. And then the y to the r, you just leave that. And then you equate that to x to the 6y cubed. You're starting to see that I have stuff that's supposed to match now. For example, I got 2 times 6 minus r. That should match up with 6. I have r, and I have 3. Those should match up too. So actually, I have just solved for r, because r, according to the brown highlighted portion, is equal to 3, right? I could solve for it also using the blue portion. 2 times 6 minus r is equal to 12 minus 2r, which is equal to 6. So that would be 2r equals 6, because if I subtract 6 from both sides, I would get 6 and then on the left, and then I could add 2r to both sides and get 2r on the right. And so r is equal to 3 also. So do you see how, like, either way, using the brown information or the blue information, I can figure out that r equals 3, right? Now that I know that r equals 3, now I'm going to use the orange part of the equation to solve for the green part of the equation. Because actually what they wanted to remember, they always wanted to know the coefficient, which is basically the green part of the equation. So now I'm going to put r equals 3 into the green part of the equation. That's going to be 6 chooses 3 times 2 times 6 minus 3 times negative 3 to the third. So that's going to be 2 cubed times negative 3 cubed. 6 chooses 3. 6 chooses 3, according to my calculator. 6 chooses, I do math, probability, and chooses r, 3. 20. I could have probably figured that out with Pascal triangle or with the formula for combinations. Okay, so 6 chooses 3 is 20. 2 cubed is 8, right? Because 2 times 2 times 2. And negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27, right? So that would be, and I'm going to do this on the calculator offline, would be 20 times 8 is 160. 160 times 27 is 4320. Okay, so that is the coefficient for this problem. They wanted the coefficient of the x to the 6y cubed term of this binomial. Okay, and remember, just to review what we did, first we identified that we did know n, we did know a, and we did know b, we did not know r. So we filled in everything that we knew, then we set it equal to like a dummy version of the term, because we knew x to the 6y cubed, that's defined, but we don't know the number part. That's actually what they're asking for. Now you're going, oh my god, I got two variables, I don't know k, I don't know r, and I only have one equation. How am I supposed to figure it out? Well, it's because you can figure it out because actually this is kind of like two equations in one. You have the blue part of the equation, which is the number part, or the green part of the equation, and then you have the orange part of the equation, which is the variable part. And so when you divide it into the number part and the variable part, first you solve the variable part because you know what the variable part should look like. We find out that r equals 3. Then we take the result, r equals 3, and then we use that in the number part, the blue or the green part. Now it looks like it's blue, but I think it was green. And then you fill in the r value is 3, and then you just calculate it out, and you find out that the coefficient was negative 4,320, of course. Okay, so these are the hardest kind of problems there are. If you do a few of them, I don't think it's that bad, but definitely easily forgotten. So write out a commented version of this on your cheat sheet for the final exam. I think it'll help you out.